Right, we may or may not be live. I don't know. It looks like it might be working. Yay! I'm on YouTube anyway. If anybody is watching us on Facebook, please let me know. I hate technology, people. I hate it. So it might not be as glam now because I've been rushing around trying to get this sorted. Not that I'm glam anyway, but you know what I mean. Fingers crossed there are a few of you still with me. If you are there, please say hello. You may have to come off the one you were watching and come back again. Facebook is working. Evening, so do I, and they try to make me teach at school. God help them, Amanda, I couldn't teach anything. Oh, the system that we use had an update. I did it this morning and didn't even think to, well, you can't go back in and check the booking in that you've got within the slot works. And it appears now it's only going to let me, I can't pre-book the event. So we'll have to see what goes on. Not on Facebook either. Joyce, hopefully I'm on Facebook by now. Evening, Tina. Hi, Alison. Hopefully you're still with us. Hi, Veronica. Oh, my Lord. And Maisie's come to join us as well. So that'll just add to the fun. Oh, good grief. Goodness me. What an evening. Oh, why do I do this to myself? I could tear my hair out, but I haven't got enough of it. Anyway. Carol, is Facebook not working with you? You may just need to refresh it because I've had a few replies on Facebook. So fingers crossed it is. You'll just have to let me know. I'm really sorry, people. I don't know what else we can do. I'm on both. Thank you, Jules. That's great. Carol, it sounds like you might just need to do a refresh. I know, Amanda, what would it be like? And now I'm probably freezing because somebody's trying to ring me. Oh, good grief. Okie dokie. Right. Lovely. There's a few of you here to join us. So, what have we got to say apart from technology's driving me mad? Right, we are making a card this evening. Fingers crossed that goes better than the technology. Hi, Linda. Right, before we do that, hi, Susan. Susan, you're not the only one that's running late, because so were we.
It's all working.
Oh, just had the heads up that we're all working, so that's good. Carol on Facebook. Facebook's now working. Thank you. Hi, Richard. Howdy from Facebook. Right, so last week I did say again, well, not last week, on our last Facebook Live, that I would do another little draw. What are you playing at, ladies? Only 3 of you entered. So the challenge is that when I do these Facebook Lives, when I come on the next one, and I'm not going to do it every time because you'll expect it every time. You've got to keep you on your toes. If you post on our Be Inspired page that a version of what I've made. Hi, Karen. Hi, Sandra. Then, yeah, so if you post a version of what I've made, which means I'm not just wasting my time with you all. I want you to have a go at what I make too. Then I will pull a name out of a hat and you'll receive a £10 voucher. So, we only have 3 little entries today, because the weather was obviously too nice for you all. So I'm going to flip it round. There's our 3 entries. And I'll shuffle them about a little bit. And we will pull one name. And believe it or not, all 3 of you are coming to the Ravenwood workshop as well. And the winner is Jules May. So Jules, you will have a £10 voucher. Now let me know on here if you would like to collect that at the workshop, or if you would like me to post it out to you. That's entirely up to you. So Jules, that's all yours. I won't tuck you in amongst the other names because then it'll get lost. Hi Liz. Right, so as you can see, this is what we're working with. Completely different to what I had in my head I was going to do. So I haven't actually got the nice pretty version of this stencil to show you. I've only got my version of this stencil to show you. So sorry, it's not beautiful, it's well used. So we're going to be using Stargaze, and we're going to be using the Bold Brush Strokes Stencil and Mask. Obviously our white cardstock that comes in the 250 or the 300 GSM. Our sticky glue, Versamark ink, not VersaFine this time. White embossing powder. Blending brushes. We are out of stock of the large ones. So I'll have it there for you at the workshop, Jules. So we're out of stock of the large ones. We only have the small ones in stock at the moment, which is the ones with the little caps that fit over the top to protect them. We also have the anti-static bag, and I am going to be using faded jeans tonight. Again, it's my version of it. Sorry, it's not beautifully pretty. Right, so let's pop these bits out of the way. Now there's quite a few pieces to this card tonight, but it's not difficult at all. There are a couple of these pieces I need to keep because I need to use them. Dawn, you're not the only one. We did too. I keep the shelf behind me nice and clear now so that I can put all the bits and pieces on there. I'm just going to home us in just a little bit more, otherwise you get too much of my desk. Hi Di. Are we going to see you at the weekend, Di? We're going back to shows this weekend. We haven't had a show for, I think it's about, when did we last do a show? Middle of August, so about 4 weeks we've been off. So we're at the Motorcycle Museum this coming weekend on Saturday, but I'll give you all the details. So let's have a quick run through what you need. As I said, there are quite a few pieces to it, but it's not difficult. Well, we'll see you there then. Off to vote. Ooh. See you in a little while, Amanda. Right, so we've got our 8x8 card. We have got, let's go with this piece first. So now this is the size of an A4. Oh, I've gone in too close now, look. Oh, wrong way. There we go. So this is the size of an A4 sheet of paper, the length. And all I've done is cut 4 inches off it. Hi Eileen. So you need that. We're going to be scoring that piece. Then we have 3 3/4 inch. Where did that come from? That's a big 3 3/4. 7 3/4 inch square and a 7.5 inch square. We also have, I'll just show you these. This is scraps of vellum. Any bits that I've cut off I keep, and I use those for making my flowers, and that's what you need it for. Oh, Dartmouth, very nice. Dartmouth, even. Lovely, Liz. That's why I can't send you parcel any earlier. Right, so let's get back to what we're doing here. I'm just double checking I've got them in the right order. So we have 2 pieces of, I know you hate me for this. There's 5/8 and 7/8 and 3/8 in this. I can't do anything about that because it's the size of the card base. So we have 2 pieces at 7 5/8 long by 3 1/4 inches wide. We then have another 2 pieces which are 7 3/8 wide by 7 3/8 long by 3.5 inches wide. And then we have another 2 pieces which are 7 5/8 by 3 5/8. And then finally 2 more pieces, 7 3/8 by 3 3/8. Oh, Cape Verde, that's on our list of places to go. What was it like, Eileen? Did you enjoy it? And yes, it's blooming freezing. We've given in and put the heating on. Can you believe it? It's only just, well, less than halfway through September, and I've got my heating on and my jumper's out. It's not on. Right, so that's all your pieces done. I will pop that there. No, you're not going to be able to read it. I will try and remember if I get a chance. We've got so much going on. All good. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Eileen. We've got so much going on in these next few weeks. I can't promise I'm going to get those measurements up. But to be honest, if you're not using the same brand of cardstock as me, it might be different. See, Di, it's not on, is it, that we've got heating on at this time of year? So we're scoring this at 7 7/8. So we've got the 7. Then we've got the 7 1/4, 7 1/2, 7 3/4. Then I've got a little one in the middle. And it's that little one in the middle that I want you to score on, which is between the 7 3/4 and the 8. Hi Carol, I'm glad you've joined us. Yes, we're fine now, but we had a nightmare getting on here. What a night. Who knows? Martin, if you are watching, or Mum, if you're watching, can you make sure you do that thing on YouTube that we need to do to make sure it goes through the system properly? Thank you. Right, I put my scoreboard away, and although I don't need my scoreboard, I'm folding this piece back, and I find if I can put it into the scoreboard and push it into the corners, it helps to get that fold exactly where I want it. So it gives me something to push it against, basically. So all I heard from down below me in my office was Martin say, what did you say? I was saying, could you please make sure that we've done the thing on YouTube that we have to do to make it load properly? Hopefully that makes sense to him. So we've got a Z fold, and we've got a little extra piece that looks like that. We're going to flip that extra piece over, and it's going to sit on the front there, but we're not going to stick anything down at this point. Now, obviously, I've done prep work of this ahead of time. So I'm just going to kind of follow it. All I can hear is him say, what do you mean? If he wants to come up, I'll tell him. I'll write it down. If he wants to come up, Martin Mitzi, sorry, I have to scribble that down. He can see what the problem is. Right, so we are using a stencil. What I'm going to do is show you what I've done with parts of this, so that, because you don't need to see me going all the way around. So you can see what I have done, and Martin's going to come up and be talking to me, and I need to show him something.
Yeah.
Now it makes sense. Right. So I have gone round all the larger pieces of cardstock. Sorry, it's been a bit wild here, hasn't it? Yeah, so I've gone around all the larger pieces of those numbers I gave you. So where are we? We have gone around the 7 3/4 inch square. We've gone round the 7 5/8 by 3 3/4, and the 7 5/8 by 3 5/8. So it's the larger pieces. So obviously each section has got 2 pieces to go with it. So you've got the backing piece, the layering piece, and another piece that goes on top. So it's the layering piece that I have just gone around the edges of. Okay. So now you've seen that, I can use those, you see, and I don't need to go all the way around. Thanks, Veronica. I know it was just something I needed Martin to do on the back side of YouTube for loading it later. But he's done it for me now. And I couldn't do it from here. So we are using our brush stroke stencil. Bear with me, bear with me, bear with me. I've got pieces everywhere now. Thrown myself off. Okay, there we go. This is what happens when I do a bit of everything. So we are going to do, so I'm trying to think of the best way to explain this to you. So we've got the layering pieces, which we've put to one side. We have gone round, I will show you on a couple of them, all the way around the edge. So that's the layering pieces. those smaller pieces that are left, you've got two slightly different widths, but they're both the same length. So one is slightly thinner than the other. Those thinner two, so it is the 7 3/8 by 3 3/8. We're going to use this as part of the stencil. Have I confused you all completely? Confusing myself, really. And we're going to kind of position that somewhere in the middle. Now, obviously, this piece of cardstock is slightly wider than our stencil, so I need to protect my stencil. So my favourite trick is pieces of kitchen paper. So we'll just hold that down, and that just means that I can ink that stencil up without worrying about going over the edge of the stencil, because I've tried to make it as long as possible and get the most out of the stencil, but that then means that sometimes we hang over the edges when we're inking them up. So we're going to go in with this. Any of you that are on our workshops coming up in the next couple of weeks, if you have the magnetic board, we are doing some stenciling. So every time we do it, people say to me, oh, I didn't know we needed that. Oh, I've got that at home, I could have bought it. If you want to bring it, I'm giving you the heads up in advance. We are going to be doing some stenciling. So if you want to bring it with you, please do so. Right, so we are going to be adding the colour down. Now, as I always say with this particularly with this stencil, work with it. Don't go against it. You don't want these little flappy bits here lifting up. If you go around in circles, which is a natural reaction to do, you will probably lift those little pieces up, and you don't want to do that. So I'm just working it through, and I don't want this particularly heavy, but not too light, just a little bit of colour. And by brushing it on, it means that you kind of like get a brush stroke effect with it. Hi Tina, how's retirement life treating you? Maisie's off on a wander now. She's probably going to find something I've dropped on the floor and that she can shred to pieces. So we are going to do that on both of those two smaller pieces. Told you that's what she was going to do. She's gone straight to where my bin is. Right. So this is the two smallest pieces you've got. You're not going to believe me, but it wasn't meant to be the two smallest pieces, it was meant to be the next two. Flip that piece over. Ignore everything I've just said to you. Can you tell I'm really flustered by what went on tonight? These pieces are 7 3/4. These pieces are 7 3/8 by 2 1/2. 7 3/8 by 2 1/2. Start again, Amanda. Oh dear lordy me. I apologise, ladies and gents. It's been an evening of it. It really flusters me when it doesn't work properly, because I just don't like technology. It's a good job there's two sides to a piece of cardstock, isn't it? Right. Maisie's found her piece of paper to chew, so she's good. I've lost my second piece of that as well. Right. Sorry people, I'm back. I'm going to ink this up. Thankfully we have one I did earlier. Tina, you're not telling me how your retirement life's going. Right. Now I've completely confused you all. Told you, Maisie. Maisie, no. No. I'm going to whiz through these two really quickly. Now she's going to sulk because I've told her no. She doesn't like me telling her off. Again, tuck that piece of kitchen paper under there to protect the edge of your card, unless you're really good at making sure you don't go over the edges, which I cannot ever guarantee, so I never try. Good, Tina, I'm glad you're enjoying it. You've probably got less time now than you ever had though, haven't you? That's what people that have retired tell me. Don't know how I managed to work. And nor do I. So that is our two pieces sized at 7 3/8 by 3.5, and they've both got that larger image on there. Again, not too heavy, but dark enough that you can see it. Pop my stencil to one side for a moment. I'm going to keep hold of those pieces because you're going to use those again in a minute. So, two smaller pieces. Now we're going to be stamping on top of these, so just put them to one side and hopefully by the time we come to stamp them we won't stick anything anywhere else. So we're then going to take our two smaller pieces and we're going to use the stencil again. I'm going to take it right up to the edge. Now it's entirely up to you how much of this section that you're going to fill in, but we're only going to be using parts of it. So I took it right to the edge. On this particular one, I don't need to use the kitchen paper. So I took it right to the edge and I took it down from the edge. Okay. And we're going to add that colour in there. It's all done in blue and white tonight. I'm assuming my mum's talking about the heating. Right, so we're going to just keep going and you can put it in, position it anywhere along here that you want it to be. I am going to go in slightly off on this one. But again, remember, use that kitchen paper. It's great because it's got a little bit of give. If you use cardstock, you're going to be raising the stencil a little bit. So that's not always as successful. And this is just to give a bit of texture to the layering pieces of cardstock. It means you don't have to have all the fancy different bits of paper. So you're just going to keep building up until you end up with two pieces that look like this. They don't have to be identical. They're going to be opposite each other. So we have our top two pieces there, and then we have our other top two pieces. So these pieces here, not these ones, these two, can be layered onto their correct layer, which is the 5 3/4 by 3 7 5/8 by 3 5/8. Oh my goodness, tonight. And that's basically going to be these two panels here and here. I'm going to stick them on so that they're out of my way. You actually didn't miss that much, Amanda, because I prepped a lot of it ahead, but it's just stenciling. You missed me messing up all the sizing. That doesn't bode well for the weekend, does it? Hopefully we're all sorted now. Right, so we're going to lay that one on here. And then you can have them whichever way round you want. Everybody's gone very quiet. I think I've thrown them off with all my sizing tonight, Amanda. It's been a bit of a flop, what I'm talking about. It's not you next weekend at all. There is a little bit cutting out for next weekend. Only a little bit though. So that's those two, the first outside of your card done. We're going to do the same with this piece. Again, it's entirely up to you whether you want to do it mirror image of that piece, because obviously they're going to be lined like so, but you don't have to. That's your choice. Excuse me. Excuse me. I have lined my bottom layer up as best I can with the one that's underneath. Looking good already. Thanks, Liz. I'm not so sure about that though. Oh, good grief tonight. Bit flummoxed. I've had to redo our workshop card, one of our workshop cards today, because there appears to be a world shortage of vellum. Would you believe? When your vellum is a big part of your card, you have to redo it. So that's the first piece. Okay. By which time, I'm hoping these pieces are almost ready to be stamped onto. I'm giving them the most time as possible. Thank you, Amanda. Most time as possible to dry. We are also, as you will know, we have inked around the outside of the big one. What I did on these two panels is exactly what I would do, or I want to do on my larger white square. Where's the larger white square gone? Here we go. On my larger white square, which is going to fit on the top of that. Now I have already done it, and I have already stamped onto it. So I've stamped in Versamark clear ink, and I have stamped again, and white embossing powder, and then I've stamped again, and I've done the flowers. I'm going to show you how to do that on the other pieces. Vellum, we have a small amount of vellum at the moment, dyed, but not enough to have completed a couple of 100 kits, unfortunately, and I don't have time to change that up, so we had to redo the card. Right, so this is going to layer onto here and tuck inside this card, but don't stick that down until you have stuck your flappy piece, which is this piece. So this piece needs to get stuck down in here directly onto the card. And you are going to take it right to the edge and down. Now the reason I ask you to stick that on first, so we've got it like so, is because you are going to see a little bit of it here, and you are going to see a little bit of it up here, but not very much if you hide it behind your layers. Excuse me. I've made the layers as big as I can, so you really only have a very tiny border around the edge. as I said, keep all your offcuts of vellum because they're fab for when you have to do these little flowers and extra pieces. And we will pop that in there. Hopefully, the plan is that card still folds, which it does, so we'll push it down. See, Tina? Doesn't take long before it all starts to come together, does it? Just lots of little white pieces. And you're going to see lots of little white pieces this weekend. The plan is, so that is going to fit over the top of that. If, like mine, that's a bit snug in there, just trim a little piece off the edge here. But it actually isn't going to be tucked inside at any point. So the idea is it's going right across the front. Right. So just to get these pieces out of the way are two larger pieces that we inked around the edge, which no, you didn't watch me do, but I'm sure most of you know how that is done. These two pieces are 7 3/4 by 3 3/4 by 7 5/8. If you listen as we're going along, Tina, no, you're not in trouble, you'll be fine. But if you try and whiz ahead, then you might be in a little bit of trouble. Those of you that don't know, Tina and Amanda met at our workshops and they cause me trouble sometimes. Love them to pieces, but they cause me trouble because they are too much of a perfectionist for their first ever attempt at some of their cards. They make beautiful cards, but they give themselves too much of a hard time doing it, both of them. And you know I'm right, Amanda and Tina, otherwise you've been giving me abuse for that too. So those two panels in there, that just gets rid of as much of it as you can, but I didn't want to put it all together until you had that bit done. Remember, I've said to you what I did for the edges here, which you just saw me do very briefly a moment ago, and I was gonna, there we go, here we go, that you saw me do here. I think they're moving parts in all three cards, I think, this time. Can't think, one, no, only in 2 of the 3. So this has had the same thing done here. So as you can see, by putting that in there, it kind of like ties it, pulls it all in together. So think about that when you're putting your piece on. We've stamped that with Versamark Onyx Black, Versafine sticky ink, and we've stamped onto vellum. We're going to do that bit in a moment. I'm going to stick that down because the way it's going tonight, I will lose everything. Then I know I only need 2 pieces of card left out. Tina, you can knock one of these up next week before. She's retired now, Amanda. She can do whatever she wants. Right, I'm going to stick that down. So as I said, I'm going to show you this bit on the next cards. I'm going to put that card off to one side for a moment now. Hopefully I haven't done too much ahead for you because I've tried not to, but I may have done. It just got a bit confusing with all the extra pieces of paper around, too many bits. So we've got our 2 brushstroke pieces. It's entirely up to you which way round you have them. That's your choice, whichever way you like best. You're not doing this card, Amanda. I can't show you what you're doing. You know that. But you've actually got 3 cards to do, and none of them take that long. There's just lots of pieces to them. One of them might take a little while, the one I had to redo today. But there's lots of pieces to them. My poor mum, she's had hundreds of kits because I've got 5 workshops in and 2 shows in 4 weeks. So my poor mum has had hundreds and hundreds of kits to pack. She's a good lady. Couldn't do it without her, as you all know. Right, so we are now moving on to our Stargaze stamp. Stargaze stamp, make sure you use your anti-static bag on here. And if you haven't had time to let them dry, I would use, just quickly zap it with your heat tool. So we're going to ink these both up. Versamark, lots and lots of little light taps. I think she's about ready to lose the will to live now though. Bless her heart. And we're going to position that kind of central. Normally we kind of do 2 workshops at a time, so and then do those workshops, and we've usually got a little bit of a gap so we can run on and get the next set of kits packed, but we don't have that luxury this time. They're all very close together, so we are having to, well, poor mum is having to cram them in really quickly. So we've stamped that in Versamark Onyx, but see, like I've done that, I do that so often that now I can't even think what colours I'm using. Versamark Sticky Ink, Embossing Ink, white embossing powder. Sprinkle that over the top, give it a good flick, and pop that to one side. We're going to heat them both at the same time. And we're going to do the same again. So I'm going to ask, and don't often ask this, but obviously the more people we get joining us, the more fun it is on here. So if you can like and share our Facebook and YouTube pages, we would very much appreciate that. So again, central as possible, but it's your mind's eye. Yes, Amanda, I have sorted lunch. It took me to ring the hotel and speak with the general manager to get lunch sorted, but we have got it sorted. There is a salad there for you, Amanda. But I'm not telling you what it is till the day. Ha ha! Again, white embossing powder sprinkled over the top. And then we are going to heat those. As you can see, I have some flowers already cut out, but we will just stamp one out to show you. Nice to put a heat gun on to warm my hands up. So we are heating from underneath. Again, most of you know that I do that just to get the smoother finish. When I'm heating on vellum, I do not heat from underneath, I heat from on top because I need it to heat quicker. There are an awful lot of white bits in those kits, I have to say. She's done a fantastic job. It was a nightmare trying to work out what to cut as well though. When I'm cutting 480 sheets of cardstock at once, it's like, oh, you don't want to make that mistake too often. So we're almost done heating that. Remember, if you are heating from underneath, it does get very hot under there, so don't get your fingers with it, it hurts. So again, probably not showing up hugely there, but you've got your image stamped onto the darker background. I've got my offcuts of cardstock of vellum, as I said. This is, I do keep them all, I'm not just saying it for the sake of saying it. Now, for this particular card, you need 3 lots of the flowers, and it's these 2 flowers that I've cut out. So it's, I've got the insert here, it'll make it easier. It's these 2. No, that doesn't make it easier, does it? This one and this one. So technically I just need to ink that area and just stamp that area, which would be perfect. So we're just going to put a little bit of ink in the middle here. And as most of you know, I'm quite happy to do 1st, 2nd and 3rd and 4th generation stamping onto vellum with Versamark. It's quite capable of doing that. So again, that is your choice. If you are not confident enough to do that, you don't have to. If you want to do it one at a time, go for it. That is your choice. It's only those 2 flowers I really need, so that's what I'm concentrating on. And then again, white embossing powder. Give it a good flick to take the excess off. We've actually got quite a nice background already going there, but if I wanted it that perfect, it wouldn't have been. And then, as I said, with vellum, I don't heat from on top. I heat it and hold it in the air. This is not heat resistant vellum. It is just it's just the regular vellum. You don't want the heat resistant because you can't curl the flowers when you heat if it's heat resistant. Not that we're doing any curling particularly on this one anyway, but you know what I mean. Oh, Pamela, you will have to watch us on catch up. It might take you a little while because we had a bit of a technical problem, but we got there in the end. But welcome, I'm glad you've arrived. So again, we're going to go back in with that faded jeans, and we're on the back of the vellum now. So you embossed on this side, and we're going to colour in on the back. Okay, so that's the hard piece done. Amanda, close your eyes. I think off the top of my head you have 6 little flowers to cut out. That won't be too difficult for you all, I hope. So you're just going to go in and cut along the edge. We're not doing a huge amount of shaping to these flowers, so don't worry if about going into that center section, because we don't really need much. I'm just going to go a little way down just to give a little bit of movement. Tina, how did you know? Amanda, do you think you have the reputation of not liking fussy cutting? So, as I said, just a little bit going in and out. I'm not going to cut that all out because we have, as you can see, already cut those. Pop that to one side. That will get me prepped for the next time. So you end up with 2 little flowers. You need to do that 3 times. So you'll have 6 flowers in total. That's because you need 1 set to go on this one, on your large piece on the inside of your card, which I've already done. Then on these 2 other pieces that we have done, you need to position them on there. And literally all I have done with the positioning, if I can find my piece, there we go, is like you would do if you were curling ribbon. So I've literally taken my kebab stick and I'm just giving it just a little bit of shape around the edges. because I don't want it to sit completely flat, but it is also serving a bit of a purpose as to give that flower some colour. Tina, I think you just got yourself a job. Right, so you're just going to position that on the top. And you're going to do the same with the smaller one. Just a little bit of shape on there. It's actually not a flower stamp die, it is our Stargaze. So it is, let me have a look, pull it up here. It's this one. So we're using those flowers out of the Stargaze. I think you've got those, haven't you? I can't remember. Yeah, I think you do. So it's Stargaze. So although it's a large, we're just using the flower section of it, it's technically a full stamp. So you've got to work out where your pieces fit, the petals work. Now with this particular stamp, it's quite handy because if you look at it here, you've got your two spotty ones, which are different sizes. So that makes it easier to make it work. And these two are almost looking at each other, if that makes sense. Does that make sense to you? And particularly with the smaller one, that makes a huge difference. And those two are actually looking at each other. Trying to marry it up on your actual flat flower so that we are married up perfectly. If you look on, can I lift that up from there? Look underneath, it's just white underneath. And by putting that vellum on the top and adding that little bit of dimension, it gives it a slightly more 3D effect. Oh, did I miss Christine coming in? Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. Oh, if I did miss you, Christine, I'm sorry. Talking of Christines, we've got Christine, Amanda, Tina, Christine is coming on the workshop. I'm not sure if it's that Christine or if it's a different Christine, but she is coming on the workshop. Right, how are we doing here? I think we are almost there. I've just got to find where I hid my gems now. There we go. So we've got our two panels done. Now I've got one that I have already popped some gems on. But we are going to add some gems to this one. Sorry, I've got this cough coming back on me again. I am not going to pile loads of gems onto this one because this one's actually going to be on the inside of the card, and it's really just to finish it off rather than leave a big white panel there. So I'm just going to pop a couple of gems in the center of those two flowers. I'm not going to go the full hog and put them all over on the other flowers like I did for the front, because you're not really going to see it. It's just to finish those flowers off. So this one I've just put the gems on the two main flowers. The one that's going on the front, I've put the gems in random in all of the flowers that are on the stamp. Center of all the flowers on the stamp. Hopefully that makes sense to you, because I don't know if anything else about tonight will. Tina, it is Faded Jeans, and it's one of the colours that I love to go to these days. I used to do lots of oranges and pinks, as you well know, and greens, but they don't show up great on the camera. So I've kind of veered a little bit more over towards the blues and the purples, because they do tend to show up better on camera. And I wanted that the other way around. So we'll lift that up and spin that back round. And position that. So as I said, that's going on the inside. You're not going to see much of it. And I argued with myself as to whether I should ink around the edges of this, but I think that would have been just a little bit too much. So as I said, at the start we had lots of white pieces. Oh, it would be a nice Christmas card, Amanda. But you're not making it as a Christmas card at the workshop. You're not making this card. But you are making one with lots and lots and lots of bits on it. Hi, Margaret. I think we missed you. So that is the card finished. Now, I think this would be really cute. And this isn't one of the ideas as well for the card at the weekend. At the workshops, you could pop a little pocket on the front there if you wanted to, and pop a gift card in there or something, because the way it all fits together, like so, the gift card would be tucked inside the present, and it would be, or inside the card, and it's just a little something a little bit different as far as handing over a gift card, because they all come in those credit card sizes now, don't they? So that's our card. I hope you like it. It just came to me in a flash of light, this one. Sometimes when I'm prepping for Facebook Live, I can be here for hours, and other times it can happen in minutes. And I knew instantly what I was doing today, so I really like that idea. Make a really nice wedding invitation as well, I think. You could put a little pocket there. Anybody that's doing weddings, I know there's quite a few of you working on weddings at the moment that keep messaging me. Good luck with that. You could put a little pocket there with your RSVP or a map of where the venue, or if like some weddings you have a choice of menu, and they need to know in advance, so you could pop that on there. There's so many different things you could do with this, and again I think it would make a really nice wedding invitation card. You could make it smaller if you wanted to as well. It doesn't have to be the 8x8. I tend to do 8x8s on camera because, or a bigger card on camera, because they do make it easier for you to see. So we will run quickly through what we have used again. Look at me without dropping it tonight. So as I mentioned earlier, I wasn't originally going to be using brush strokes, so I haven't got a nice pretty stencil to show you, and I haven't got a nice clean one now either. So we used the bold brush strokes, stencils and mask. We have used Stargaze stamp, and the flower that we cut out was from Stargaze. We were using Versamark, not Versafine, Versamark ink, the black sticky ink. Blending brushes, as I mentioned, we are out of stock of the large ones, but we do have the small ones. Amanda, yes I did, but it was a bit of a muddle. So I will read those card sizes back again in a minute. We've got the sticky glue that comes in the 2 sizes. We've got the white embossing powder, we've got the anti-static bag, and our white cardstock that comes in the 2 sizes. And our finished card. Right, I think you're going to have to look at my ugly mug again now. And I've just realised I'm supposed to have that up all the way through, and I've only just done it. I'll be in trouble for that. I think I got a bit flustered earlier, didn't I? Look how rosy my cheeks are now. I went from being really cold to being really warm now. Right, so our card sizes, if you have a pen and paper ready. No black matting, Amanda, I know. So if you have a pen and paper ready, the sizes are 8x8 card. Then we had the A4 cut lengthways at 4 inches. So have I got a piece here, A4 piece. Cut like that. So you've got the long length 4 inches wide. Then we have got one piece at 3 3/4 inch square. We have one piece at 7 1/2 inch square. We have 2 pieces at 7 5/8 by 3 3/4. 2 pieces at 7 3/8 by 3 1/2. 2 pieces at 7 5/8 by 3 5/8, and 2 pieces at 7 3/8 by 3 3/8. Hopefully, Jules, I have used the 250 GSM because there's so much cardstock on it. If you go for the 400, it might be a bit heavy and a bit front heavy. Tina closed over already. Oh, Tina, you can't do that. You've got to be with us for the weekend. Really with us. well, your quid's in because you're not the first ones that I'm teaching it to. So all of my mistakes hopefully will happen before I get to you guys. And you never know. You might actually get through a whole workshop without me mumbling. You never know. So hope you've all enjoyed the live this evening. Again, I apologise for this horrendous system that we had. It's all changed again on me. They did the update on it at this morning. I put the update through and the whole layout is completely different, so I've got to go in and find out how all of that works again now. Fingers crossed we'll get back to being organised again. Now I have a few things to tell you about. So before I go, those of you that no, you won't, Amanda. Hopefully not anyway. Those of you that are on our Facebook pages will have seen that we have got we have started to stock some Sizzix dies. We have a selection. I think Martin's got about 60 or 70 on there already. Evening, Teresa, we're almost at the end, but hopefully you'll be able to watch us back. So we've got Sizzix dies on our website. What else do I need to tell you? We have also started stocking a few pieces, bits and pieces for sewing. So we've got some I believe there's the needles he's put on. He's got a whole long list. So pop on our website and have a look. We've got some sewing for those of you that cover both. And on their way are a few little moulds. So you can use them for resin, or you can use them with the clays, or if you're into cake making, you can use them for that too. What else do I need to tell you about? Yes, those of you that are around the Birmingham area, we are at the Motorcycle Museum for the Excalibur Papercraft Show this weekend on Saturday. That opens at 10 till 3-ish. Hopefully we'll see lots of you there. We will not be doing a Facebook Live in 2 weeks' time. If you didn't catch it already, we have got 5 workshops and 2 shows in the next 4 weeks. I just can't fit it in, if that is all right with everybody else. We are so busy with so much other stuff going on, the new designs coming out, etc, etc, that we are either looking at week of the 3rd or week of the 10th of October that we'll be back. Don't take that as gospel. If I manage to catch up on myself and I have got time, I will squeeze in that Facebook Live, but I don't want you to be expecting it and I'm not able to be here. Fingers crossed we'll get on top of ourselves. You never know. I think that's all I need to tell you about. Yeah, so we've got the Sizzix dies available on the website, the sewing stuff available on the website, and the cake moulds on their way, which hopefully they should be here maybe the beginning of next week. So keep an eye out for that. We'll post that onto our Facebook page as soon as they're in. If anybody else has got any questions, please feel free to let us know. You can either email us at honeydewcrafts@gmail.com, or you can message us through our Facebook page or through our website, which is www.honeydewcrafts.co.uk or .com if you are overseas. Like that look. Hey. As I said, don't forget to like and share our page. We'd love to have more of you joining us in the evenings. And we will see you... Oh, hang on a minute. My mum's shouting me for something. Yes. I will... I've already done that bit. She's telling me to do the drawing. I've already done it right at the beginning. So that shows you that Mum wasn't with me either. So we will see you all again as soon as possible. I will post on Facebook, social media, and all over our emails when we're next back.